Congratulations on your upcoming fatherhood. In this video, I want to disabuse you of some of the worst advice expectant fathers often receive that sets them up for failure at the hospital. My name is Markus, also known as Mr. Homemaker. I've been through this drill 3 times with my wife Kristen, and I want to share some of the lessons we've learned to help you shepherd your wife and child safely through childbirth and home again. And congratulations to any expectant mothers watching. Please send this video to your husband and let them learn from it.
And wives, give your husbands the space to figure this out without feeling accused or put upon.
One of the most common pieces of advice given to expectant fathers is to do whatever your wife needs you to do. This advice is problematic for a few reasons. First, if this is your wife's first pregnancy, how does she know what she needs you to do? Second, while in the throes of active labor, your wife is not a rational actor. She is not thinking clearly or communicating effectively about her needs. She will need you to read her body language and exercise exceptional empathy to discern what she needs. If you're either waiting for her to tell you, or you're indecisive and paralyzed because you don't want to say or do anything without her approval, you will be ineffective in your role. Remember, your wife is about to go through what is likely the most physically, emotionally, and mentally intense and challenging experience of her life. She is not a golfer, and you are not her caddy. A better comparison is she's a boxer, and you're her coach. You need to picture your wife in the ring, being pushed to her physical limits and having the sense knocked out of her. She needs you in her corner, reminding her of her training, birthing techniques, and encouraging her, holding a water bottle, a towel, and a first aid kit. Another bad piece of advice is to trust the doctors, nurses, and hospital staff. While you will be the least educated and experienced person in that delivery room, you will also be the person most focused on the well-being of your wife and child. In this period of maximum vulnerability, your wife and baby need you to do for them what they cannot do for themselves. You need to lend them your strength and protect them from the dangers inherent in a hospital setting. Doctors and nurses are not endowed by either God or their degrees with infallibility. They're human beings with preferences. They're motivated by incentives and their conditioning. They get tired, they make mistakes, and they miscommunicate with one another. You need to be prepared to advocate on your wife's behalf and even yell at the referee, also known as hospital staff, if they're failing to keep the fight clean. It's essential to navigate this unfamiliar and stressful dynamic by using your brain. That's B.R.A.I.N. Each letter stands for an essential question that you need to ask medical staff each time they suggest an intervention or a course of action. First is B. What are the benefits? What is this procedure trying to accomplish? R. What are the risks? What could the unintended consequences be of this course of action? And how likely are they? A. What are the alternatives? Are there other ways to accomplish the present goal while avoiding or reducing risks? I. What are your intuitions? Don't let insecurity or intimidation keep you or your wife from expressing concerns and gut feelings. You know your wife better than the medical staff does. You'll be the only person who has been by her side through the entire laboring process. So you have a valid and valuable perspective that needs to be shared and needs to shape the conversation about how to proceed. And last is N. What happens if we do nothing or wait to see? Now, your birthing courses and other resources that we'll cover in other videos go into greater detail. But particularly if you finished those weeks or even months ago, let this be your reminder to use your brain while shepherding your wife and child through labor and delivery. If you're ahead of the curve and you're watching this video when your wife is in the first or second trimester, then make sure you go back and watch the videos for those chapters of pregnancy. In them, Kristen and I discuss why we recommend the Bradley birthing method, which is a great set of courses that prepares you as a husband to take an active role throughout pregnancy and especially during childbirth. Now, let's talk about what you can expect in that delivery room. First things first, gird your loins, my friend, because you're about to witness some raw, carnal realities of life. Don't be squeamish, but at the same time, know your limits. It's okay to sit down, step out if you need to gather yourself, and even stay above the waist with your wife eye to eye, which is what my wife wanted anyway. So make sure you're clear on what she expects you to be doing when she's laboring and giving birth to your baby. And remember to pace yourself. Labor could go on for some time. Particularly with your first baby, prepare mentally and physically for 12 to 18 hours of a marathon with a 2-hour sprint at the end. Do not try to get yourself or your wife through this by sheer force of will. Keep yourself nourished and hydrated so you don't pass out, and get rest whenever possible. For example, if labor slows or pauses, or if your wife ends up with an epidural and manages to get some sleep, then you need to make yourself get some sleep too. On the other hand, don't get complacent, because things can accelerate quickly and without warning. When contractions accelerate and become more intense for your wife, you need to get down in the trenches with her. Even in the best case childbirth, the intensity that builds in that delivery room is going to be very different from how it felt learning about it in a classroom or practicing those techniques in a yoga studio. So be prepared to adjust mentally accordingly. Remember, you're not in the audience. You're not just standing by. You are the boxing coach in the corner of the ring. You need to be looking into her eyes, giving her the support she needs, using counter pressure techniques that you learned in your birthing class to ease her pain, holding hands with her palm to palm like arm wrestling, so she can push and pull and squeeze as she needs to expel the stress and the pain without breaking your fingers. Serious warning. You'll need to read her cues for when to offer an encouraging touch and when to give her space. Be aware of light and dark, sounds, or her need for silence in the room. And be prepared for her to change her mind 180 degrees in an instant, and for her to do so with a lot more intensity than she does when she changes her mind about where to go for dinner. So you need to have a thick skin and keep rolling with the punches. Your goal is to coach, support, and advocate for your wife in every way possible. This is a momentous occasion, and you want both of you to be able to look back on it with pride. Whether you're ahead of the game or your wife is having contractions right now, don't forget to check out our videos on bringing your baby home and preparing for the end of maternity leave. And bonus points for anybody who comments below this video after their baby arrives. Please share your top tips, having just gone through it, with the next dad who watches this video. So good luck, and I'll see you on the other side.